Creed 3, everybody. I've now seen Creed 3 twice, and I can say it is a gem. I love Creed 3. I love every Creed movie. I don't think it's as strong as either the two that came before it, but I still think Creed 3 is a great movie. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I liked about Creed 3, what I didn't like, and if I think it's the final movie in the Creed trilogy. Right off the bat, one of the first things I liked that were introduced into the movie right away was the element of real personalness to it. First one felt personal because it was Adonis trying to make a name for himself and realizing that there's nothing to be ashamed of in taking up the name of your father, who is the greatest boxer to ever live, and finding Rocky, who was his, you know, his little bestie. That movie was personal and a family matter. Same as Creed 2, Drago was the one that killed his father, so fighting his son, that fight was a personal fight to avenge his father's name. But Creed 3 was different. Creed 3 felt like a real fight for Adonis and Adonis only. Rocky didn't have to be there to lend a hand in this one. It was all Adonis on this one. The villain being his childhood best friend who manipulated him for half of the movie just to get his way, just to steal the title from him, was real interesting to me. You can see elements of that. I didn't notice this one part until the second time I watched it, but there was a scene where Dame attended the title party that Bianca was throwing. Before he walked over to Bianca's table, you could see him at a table with two other men that was revealed to be his friend later on. It's a little second that he was standing there with them. It shows his real character behind everything. He was pretending to be this good guy in reality. Behind everyone's back, he was the dick bag that he turned out to be by the end of the movie. Jonathan Majors, he completely fucking ruled this role. He was great in this role. I'm so glad they casted him for the third movie because he was great. I love Jonathan Majors as an actor. It's something about the faces he makes feel so real. His acting is like almost too much but it's so good. I don't know how to explain it. It's the faces he makes feel like really, really real. For lack of better words, it feels real. I loved him in this movie, and I love Michael B. Jordan, but who doesn't? Of course I love Michael B. Jordan. He was a highlight of this movie as well. But another highlight of this movie was their daughter. The introduction of their daughter being older in this movie and being completely deaf and using sign language. It was so cute, it was so sweet. In some moments it just felt so real. She walked in on Bianca and Adonis fighting. She picked her up and started to walk away, and he signed "I love you." You wouldn't be able to like do that with speaking because it just wouldn't feel right, but the little hand sign, it just comes off clean. I don't know. I saw the training montage get shit on in this movie, but I think it was perfect. It was a different way to do it. The one in Creed 2 is obviously the best one. You'll never beat that. But the one in this one was clean as hell, and it made sense. Bringing back Drago to fight him, that was cool. I don't care what nobody says. That was cool. Bringing back Drago at all was cool. Also bringing back Pretty Ricky, that was cool as shit too. This is his final fight before Dame came around. Just bringing all these characters back because they couldn't bring back Rocky, it was cool to me. It was a cool cover. The elephant in the room, Rocky being gone, I think it fit with this movie just fine. I think the way that he ended his story in Creed 2 made a whole lot of sense. He saw Adonis become the family man that he is in this movie, so he thought it'd be best to reach out to his son, and his son did want to see him and let him into his life, so he was probably done with boxing because Adonis was the one to tell him to reach out. So I think the way they ended Rocky's story in Creed 3 is just fine, and he didn't have to be in this movie. Also, the family aspects in this movie were cute as fuck. It was amazing. Adonis's mother dying in the movie actually made me like cry both times I watched it in the theater. Just now that when I watched it, it was a bittersweet moment. It felt earned in the spot it was in because Bianca and Adonis just had their fight, and then that happened. It made them come back together, and then fight with Dame and Adonis happened after that. It was placed perfectly. I cried bad. I think there was really only one specific scene I didn't like, and that was the Adonis and Dame fight at the end when it was completely silent. It was just them in the ring. It felt very, very corny to me in a way. I understand it was supposed to be personal. It was just them dueling it out because they're getting all their anger out. What happened before, how Adonis didn't contact him, and now how he's back. Adonis helped Dame get the title just to get screwed over. Dame screwed him over on purpose. Now they're just getting it out on each other. But the music, I didn't enjoy the music, and the scene in general was just weird to me, but it made sense. It wasn't for me. There's something about this movie that just feels missing, and maybe it is Rocky. I didn't think it was, but it just doesn't feel as strong as the first two. That first one was probably the best Rocky movie in the whole series. It was the one that got me into the Rocky movies. I watched that before I ever watched the Rocky movie. I asked my family about it, and they showed me what Rocky is, and I realized it was the greatest boxing series of all time. and that's where Creed came from. And that first one meant a lot more to me. The second one was strong as hell. In my opinion, the best Rocky movie is the fourth one. If it's not the first one, it's the fourth one. So bringing back Drago, that was cool as hell. Just something about this one. It feels like it's missing something. Really, let's talk about if I think this is the end of the Creed trilogy. I think it should be. Do I think it is? Probably not. If you see what they did with Rocky, they went on forever. I think movies are different nowadays to where you do a trilogy and then you're done. I think with this one, what they should do, if they're going to do anything, is end it off how they did in this one and wait a few years and pick it back up when the daughter has grown up and make Creed her mentor, if you want to just continue that line on. But it'd be different because it's a female boxer this time, so we get to explore that side of the world, so that'd be cool. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to give Creed at least 1 or 2 more movies if they can get it out, because you see the way this movie's been selling? Everyone wants to see this movie. Everyone wants to see Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan shirtless, boxing, fighting it out. Everyone wants to see that. I do too. I'm not ashamed of it. Overall, I'd rate this movie 8.5 out of 10 because it's Creed. It's fire. I love Creed. Even if they continue it, which I hope they don't, the way they ended it was perfect. But if they continue it, I'll definitely be in the theater watching it because these movies are just perfect. I hope if they do continue it, Sylvester Stallone has a little more to do than just a production credit at the end of the credits. That would be nice. Otherwise, I think this movie is great. I think you should go see it if you haven't seen it, and if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've seen it. You know the movie's great. And if you disagree, tell me in the comments below. I'm very interested to see what you think. If you agree, tell me in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you guys point out that I didn't, because I know I didn't cover everything. Anyways, thanks guys.